If you're researching the Ocean Club Four Seasons residences here in the Bahamas and want to get the details to see if it's a right fit for you, this is the video breakdown you need. Not the brochure, not the marketing, not the sales pitch, but this is how the development is actually structured, who's behind it, and what you're really buying, and how to evaluate it properly. I'm Ethan Quant with Bahamas Island Luxury, and I specialize in luxury and new development real estate here in the Bahamas. And when I look at a project like this, I'm not just looking at finishes and renderings. I'm looking at who's building it, who's designing it, how it's structured, and how it performs over time. Now, let's take a look at the ownership structure. And this is what most people miss. This development is marketed as 67 residences, but in reality, you're looking at closer to 61 actual ownership positions. Here's why that matters. The one-bedroom units are not coming to market, meaning you can't just buy a one-bedroom unit. You have to own a larger unit first. Why is this important? This immediately filters the ownership pool. You're not getting fragmented buyers. You're getting high capacity ownership, long-term holders, and more controlled inventory at the same time. It creates flexibility. You have now a built-in secondary unit that you can use for guests, staff, or rental income. That's intentional design. Now let's talk about the developer. This project is developed by Two Roads Development. This is a South Florida-based firm focused on high-end design-driven residential development. Their portfolio includes projects tied to brands like Edition, Pendry, and the ultra-luxury waterfront developments in South Florida. What exactly does that mean? These guys at Two Roads aren't learning luxury. They specialize in it. Branded residences, hospitality integrated living, and high net worth buyer expectations. At this level, projects don't fail because of design. They fail because of execution. And Two Roads has the track record of delivering on complex brand-integrated developments. Now, let's talk capital structure. Why this project is different. This development is backed by Access Industries. They actually own the Ocean Club Resort. This is not a loose partnership. This is a fully aligned ecosystem. The resort, the residences, the brand experience, all working together. Now, why does that matter? It ensures consistency of service, control over operations, and long-term brand protection. And that is rare. The architecture is handled by 10SB, formerly SB Architects. They specialize in luxury resorts, branded residences, large-scale hospitality environments. They don't design buildings. They design how people move through space. That's why you see long sight lines, ocean-facing layouts, seamless indoor-outdoor transitions. Now let's talk interiors. The interiors are done by Champeau Design out of New York. This is one of the most respected firms in the world for ultra-luxury hospitality, high-end residences, and branded environments. So what does this tell you? This is not mass luxury. It's curated, designed for a specific type of buyer. When Champeau is involved, you're not just buying finishes. You're buying mood, experience, and long-term design relevance. Now, let's talk about the location. This sits on Paradise Island, but more importantly, it sits on the right part of Paradise Island. You're directly on Cabbage Beach, north-facing exposure, protected views. You're close to everything, Atlantis, the marinas, dining, but you're not inside it. You're intentionally removed. And that's exactly what buyers at this price point want. Now, let's get into the part that actually matters, because the way these units are designed tells you exactly who they're built for. Let's start with the one bedroom, approximately 1,206 total square feet. This is not a primary ownership product. This is a support unit within ownership. you have a full living space, kitchen, integration, private terrace. This unit gets used for guests, staff, or rental. This is how owners add flexibility without compromising privacy. 2-bedroom plus den entry ownership, 3,977 total square feet. This is the entry point into ownership, but it's still a large-scale residence. What stands out is private elevator foyer, full separation between primary and guests, den that can function as an office, media room, additional sleeping, or outdoor living with a summer kitchen. Who is this for? Think couples, seasonal buyers, entry-level ultra-luxury ownership. 3-bedroom plus den. This is the core product, 5,293 total square feet. This is the most balanced unit in the entire development. Why, you may ask? You now have full family functionality, multiple guest suites, central kitchen anchoring the space. This is where the strongest resale demand typically sits. The 4-bedroom plus den flex product, 6,440 total square feet. This unit includes the lock-off guest suites. What this creates is 2 functional assets, the primary residence plus an independent guest or rental unit. The strategic value. This is where buyers start to think in terms of usage, income, and flexibility. Now, let's talk about the Penthouse vertical estate. 9,412 total square feet. What are you getting? Full floor feel, multiple terraces, private pool, separation of entertaining, sleeping, and service. Moving on to the 5-bedroom beach villa. This is the estate category. 14,023 total square feet. This is a standalone beachfront estate within a managed environment. What makes it different is that it has a private entrance, direct beach access, private infinity pool, multiple living zones, formal, family, outdoor entertaining. This unit competes directly with private beachfront estates, but adds security, service, and the brand backing of the Four Seasons. Now, let's talk about pricing, because this is where a lot of confusion normally comes in. At a high level, you're looking at an entry point starting at around 7.3 million US dollars for the development. And realistically, this project runs roughly from 7 million up to 23 plus million, depending on the type of unit you choose. For the 2-bedroom plus den, you're typically entering at around $7 to $8 million. This is your entry point into ownership. The 3-bedroom plus den, this is where most buyers are going to sit, between $9 million and $12 million. This is the core product of the development. The 4-bedroom plus den with the guest suite is going to range between $11 million and $17 million. Now you're stepping into more space, more flexibility, and more strategic ownership. Now, when we're looking at the penthouses, you're going to come in typically around 15 to 16 million plus, and these sit on top of the vertical stack. The beach villas, these are at the top of the market at around 23 million plus. This is your flagship residence. And in some cases, these are setting record level pricing for Paradise Island. This development is trading at a premium because of 3 things. 1, Four Seasons brand integration, a limited supply, only 61 real owners, direct beachfront positioning. You're not buying this based on price per square foot. You're actually buying this development based on brand-backed service, controlled ownership, long-term positioning. Price is not just about size. It's driven by stack position, view corridor, floor level, proximity to amenities, and in some cases, how the unit is actually configured with the lock-off suite. Here's how serious buyers will approach this. They don't ask, what's the cheapest unit? They ask, what's the best position unit in the stack? Because that's what drives resale, liquidity, long-term value, and overall experience. At this level, pricing is not the decision. Positioning is. And understanding where you sit in the development. matters more than just getting in. Now, let's talk amenities. What actually matters? Nearly 25,000 square feet, but the real value is in execution. Beach service, full concierge, pre-arrival home setup, spa, fitness center, dining, owner's lounge and library. Most developments give you access. This gives you service integration. The rental and ownership strategy. Optional rental program, lock-off flexibility, brand manage exposure. Buyers here are not chasing yield. They are offsetting costs, maintaining flexibility, and preserving value. At this level, you're not buying based on finishes. You're buying based on developer, design, structure, and positioning. If you're seriously considering this development, you need clarity on it, which unit fits your lifestyle, where you should sit in the stack, and how this fits into your overall portfolio. Reach out to me. I'll walk you through it properly. Bahamas Island Luxury. This is how you evaluate real estate at the highest level. Remember, live luxurious.